I think it worked.
It did.
It worked.
Perfectly.
Welcome. I'm so excited. So welcome to Slice of Pie. This is Tipsy Tuesday, when we talk to amazing professionals about what they do and just get to know folks better. Courtnie, it's been some time, but I'm so glad you're here.
I'm excited as well. It is great to be here, man. Great to be invited. I'm excited, looking forward to the conversation.
Oh, wow. So for the folks that, if you're joining, we're on multiple platforms and we can't see where you're coming from. So please do all the things you're supposed to do, like and share and all that good stuff, so they don't kick us off these channels. But, I was thinking about the fact that we met some months ago. And I think what I was so impressed by and still am is your commitment to students. And so I want to talk about your organization and what you do, but I want to find out more about why you're serving in this way, because I really do feel like you are one of the best servant leaders that I know. So we definitely want to talk about that. And then we're going to come back and talk about something we started talking about before we started this. Before all this, y'all, I'm going to get some sisterly advice on how to celebrate my wins, because I am terrible at it.
Oh my gosh. Well, I love it.
Thank you. Sorry. So let's start by telling folks, more about your organization and what do you do?
Yeah, so I'm Courtnie McIntosh. I'm the founder and CEO of the Academy of Goal Achievers. And we have a youth leadership mentoring organization that takes place in Charlotte, North Carolina. And what we do, we help young adults in high school and ages 18 to 23 navigate this thing we call a messy life, right? And then while we're helping them navigate just life, we're preparing them for post-secondary educational careers within a 2-gen model. I like to say we are all pathways program. So majority of our students are still going to that 4-year college pathway, but we would promote 4-year college, community college, vocational trade schools, and entrepreneurship. But we just don't start with the students. We're helping the parents too as well. We have a very engaged parent group. So for our organization, on any program day, you see a family get out the car, right? A family put themselves in position to get access to resources and more information, so their family can be in the best position possible as a unit, outside of just that child getting help and support.
I love the fact that you're incorporating the entire family, because you do need to have that support at home. It's one thing to, come through an organization that's supporting you as a student, but it's another thing when you get back home and you don't have that reinforcement or the encouragement or the support. So that model that you have in place, to me, is so incredible, because you're building a support system for the students, and that will help them to be successful. Y'all, like I said, this is world-class stuff. Okay, let me just y'all, this is not for everybody. Can't create a program that supports kids. It doesn't work like that. And I think another thing that you have is heart. For those of y'all who are on LinkedIn, I call it the LinkedIn family. If you follow, and you should follow, the Academy of Goal Achievers, what I love about some of the images that you showed, and I might have mentioned this to you when I first met you, it was the look on the kids' faces. So I look for that. I know brand and marketing, and I know when something's staged. And I know when people are uncomfortable. I really connect with people's faces and their language, and even in images and pictures. And so one of the things that I was looking for was, what was the conversation through the body language? And it was really relatable. Kids were they were in tune with what was going on. And it felt more like, what was happening in the room. They were actually involved. And y'all, you can tell when you take a photo and it ain't real. It wasn't staged. And I love that. And every time I go through and see the images that you're sharing from your events, that's what we pick up. So that's how I know, her heart is and it's all about serving those kids.
Yeah, it's about serving those kids. It's about serving the families and empowering my team to, serve the students too, and also themselves. But it's always about the young adults we serve and trying to create an environment where they can just grow and be fed and here, and we're all about positive reinforcement. You know, we're not called the Academy of Goal Achievers for no reason, right?
Right.
You come into our organization, you know, our young adults always get labeled so many different things, but they rarely hear a positive label, right? As they come into these organizations, and you know, no matter what, for us, they are goal achievers the minute they step through their door.
Wow.
The minute you step their door, and we usually tell them you was already a goal achiever before you came to us, you know. But we're just reinforcing it and bringing it more into light.
I love that. So how did you even get started? Why did you choose this journey?
So let me tell you. So when I was a young kid, my mom used to tell you, like, Courtney, what do you want to do? When she asked me, like, Courtney, what you want to do when you grow up? I used to always say help people and feed the homeless, and I always knew I wanted to help. I just didn't know at that time what it was going to look like. And, you know, so as I began to just navigate this thing called life myself, and my personal experiences with my family and my mom, and seeing how my mom just, you know, she didn't have the easiest life. But I'm gonna tell you something. She always made sure we was in position to succeed.
Wow.
Even when I was going to college myself, my senior year of high school, I'm having to find out how to go to college on my own. And my mom didn't know that information because she never gone. She had never went to school. And when I gave her the information, she did what every mom would do. You know, every mom that has a sincere buy-in with their child, they're going to take that information and run with it and advocate for their child to get this future they want.
Oh, yeah.
And that's what I saw, you know, and a lot of kids was in my situation. The college process, we all know, it is complicated.
Yes.
And you're doing it on your own. And if you're like me, you're doing it on your own. Your mom is supporting you, your parents supporting you, but they don't know the how to, right?
Yeah.
So, and then when I got to school, I truly believe they say first gen students usually drop out of school because of financial barriers. But I truly believe it's another thing too, not only just finances, but positive reinforcement and a support system. That's there when things get tough. I mean, think about it. Us as adults, we all need our village.
Yes, absolutely.
We all need our village, right? So when I got out of college, so I went to and through successfully. That's one thing. I began to, like I said, I always wanted to help people. So I began to work with a organization called The Relatives. It's a homeless youth crisis shelter. So my thing was like homeless youth.
Wow.
And what I did there was help families and young adults who was homeless. It was a youth crisis shelter. So only the kids stayed there. But my job was to provide support for those families and make sure their kids stayed in school, make sure they got housing, employment opportunities, everything. Wow. And what I began to see is those families, some of their experiences was just like mine. You know, my family experienced homelessness. How do you help a child who's in a system who may experiences 5 high schools in 1 year?
Wow.
How do you help that kid get to school? How do you help that kid even thinking about 3 years from now? They're thinking about where they're going to live tomorrow.
That's right. That's right.
You know, so I realized, one, that the power of groups. That's why we do the group mentoring model. Because sometimes, you know, when you're by yourself and you're thinking no one understands, I'm the only one going through this stuff. That's what I told my senior year self, 17 years old in high school. I'm the only student who have to Google how to go to college.
Wow.
Like, I'm the only student who have to figure out how to even, who is my school counselor? Scholarships, what is that?
Yeah.
I'm the only student who doesn't know this stuff. But once I began to surround myself with more like-minded individuals, one, I realized I wasn't alone. And that's what my power became. So that's why we do group mentoring at the Academy of Goal Achievers, because kids get to look around at each other and be like, you know what? I'm not in this by myself. And I'm not the only child. You know, I'm not the only one that experiences this. So it's just motivation in and out of our organization to let students know that you have your village, you have your peers. So you don't tell yourself you're the only one, because you're not.
Wow. That whole premise that you're not alone is so powerful. And I love the fact that you point out, even as adults, as we're adulting. We need circles, y'all. We need our circles.
We do.
Oh my gosh. And the group mentoring, what are some of the things that that as you're looking back, first of all, how long have you been in operation?
Since 2015. We started
2015.
out since 2015. We started with 15 students. Last year, we served almost 600 kids. You know
what? That's incredible.
Yes, I know. It's been an amazing journey. You know, we have seen now siblings come through the program. You know, we are graduating. Our first class is graduating from college this year. The freshmen that we had in 2015.
Yeah.
Out of that group, 12 are graduating from college. And the others are a lead electrician and a cosmetologist. The other student was a youth leader. But
oh my gosh,
they're all, you know, I mean, it's just amazing.
That's so. How do you know, as you're so again, you just dropped the 600. Like that is
almost this 600. Is we gotta go. 600. We gotta go to hit that 600 this year.
Okay, so for those of y'all who are, again, back in your home thinking about what your purpose is and trying to, you know, figure out how you're going to serve, there is a tremendous amount of work behind it. So please don't take this testimony as, you know, it is not easy. There's a lot of sacrifice. There are a lot of things that are involved. So can you talk about a little bit what maybe that looked like for you, some of the work behind the scenes, or, you know, some of the sacrifices that you had to make, just so folks know, like, there is a journey to this.
There's definitely a journey. So I would say some of the sacrifices was really, you know, time. You have to slow down and really, you know, I think a lot of us get so much like these amazing visions, right? Not obviously these callings. They're not even like, some people are just called to do what they're doing.
Yeah.
But we have to slow down, educate ourselves, right? And put what's in our heads on paper, right? We have to take time to do and build those infrastructures. I would think in the beginning, my foundational year was just building out those infrastructures, making sure I wasn't the only one knowing the key information.
That's right.
Building out policies and just procedures, thinking about, you know, where we see ourselves 2, 3, 4, 5 years down the road. And then the big key was building community partnerships. You know, how can I continue to get in the face of key stakeholders in our community to continue to build trust for our organization? And, you know, with being the statistics around being a Black-led nonprofit organization and the disparities, you know, and how implicit bias plays into all those opportunities, you know, it's really hard. But I always say, when you're called, it will happen.
Yeah, that's right.
It happens, you know, but it doesn't make it easier. But just know it's a journey that it must be taken.
Oh, I love that. And there's such a sense of pride in your work, and it shows up in the quality. You know, again, quality for me is everything. So I watch a lot of things, y'all. I'm that girl. And I think another thing that I pick up is the organization behind the organization, the thoughtfulness that goes in the way you execute things. That's important because, you know, you don't, you know, you're talking about kids. We leave an impact and we leave an imprint on teens, especially. And so as I'm thinking about, you know, how you're meeting teens where they are, what are some of the things you've learned from the teens that you've served?
And what I've learned. See, that's the biggest thing. I'm big on youth engagement, right? I truly believe we can all serve young adults, but who can truly engage them? And we have to remember they're engaged how we engage, right? So the very first thing I did our first year, we did a youth focus group, right? And we got our young adults feedback about our program first year. They gave me the great, they gave me the good, and Miss Courtnie, why don't we do this? Can we do more of this? You know, but not only they give us feedback, but I begin to implement their feedback. I made changes in the program due to their feedback, and they saw it. Which increases their buy-in. It's just like when we go to work and your boss asks you to take this evaluation or survey, we want your input, you give input, and what happens? You may not see anything. So when you see that, you begin to get more disengaged. Like, my voice doesn't matter. Why ask me when it's not going to be implemented? So I knew from the beginning to engage my young adults and for them to teach me in the organization, I needed to get their input on what we was doing. Because at the end of the day, I believe the young adult and the families have the answer on how to engage them. Sometimes we move so fast, we think we know it all, but I'll say, go to the people you're serving and say, how would you like to be served? And serve them through their expectations and what they think needs to be served. One of the recommendations, I'm going to tell you we didn't have study hall. Okay. They gave 2. Miss Courtnie, we need more food. Like, where is the food at these sessions? Like, where is the food? Can we get more food? Please, can you bring us more food? So anybody watching this too, we have food today. But you have to donate any food for our sessions. Our young adults would love it. But they're like, where is the food? Can we do study hall? And can we begin to have a game night where we could all just get together and just hang out? I implemented game night. I implemented the study hall once a month, right? And we got more food. And I told the students, we're implementing game night and study hall. This is your program, not mine, right? I'm just the steward of it. I'm just but it's your program. And when I began to see that, those young adults begin to see their voice mattered, and it really was their program, they showed up more, they voiced their opinion more, and they was able to be their authentic selves. Because they saw that, hey, she don't just ask us information, don't implement it. Like, she doesn't change and modify the program due to what we said.
And they felt heard.
They felt heard. They felt heard. Yeah. Who doesn't want to feel heard? Who doesn't want to feel heard? I think sometimes the worst thing we can tell a young adult is when you get in the real world, they're living in the real world right now.
Yeah.
They live in it.
That's powerful, because I think for, especially grown-ups who's watching, and y'all, if you're watching it live, and for those of y'all who are watching the replay, I definitely want to make sure that you go and check out Courtnie's program. But that piece of advice, as I'm think about that, even as a mom, that's something that we talk about a lot is, kids want to be heard. They don't want to be lectured. They want to be heard.
They want to be heard.
They want to be heard. And that's so important. I think for us, we want to solve the problem so quickly as adults and as parents that we miss the opportunity to hear how we solve the problem together, versus we trying to shut it down. Shut it down.
I always say, and my team will tell you too, it's all about connect before content. Connect before content. We built the strongest relationship with kids who we value when we value their first high school breakup. We don't say, oh, you're like, that ain't nothing. You ain't even, oh my God, like, I can see how much pain you're in. I can tell that really hurt your feelings.
Wow.
Because what's important to them has to be important to us. That's why we're all about navigating life first. Because you don't meet kids where they are. You don't care about them just as a person. They are a person before they are a student. Student is just one small piece of who they are. And they have multiple roles, just like us adults are playing.
Yeah.
But we have to value the multiple roles they're in too. Because they are out here experiencing life. A breakup would have your child not even want to go to college.
Yeah.
We have to see it. They would, So we have to value young adults' life experiences, and like you said, meet them where they are and see them where they are.
Mm-hmm. Oh my gosh! So I was curious about what are some of maybe the biggest wins that you've experienced, or what are some of those experiences that you want to share?
Man, 3 wins come to mind that I feel like was very pivotal in our growth as an organization. We're still growing. But this guy named Patrick Ward, You know, when people think about giving to a nonprofit organization, I think they think of two things. They think of financially and volunteerism, right?
Mm-hmm.
But Patrick, first thing he did was introduce me to his social capital, his network.
Wow.
Right? That was, and at first it came with no financial or no volunteering. He just said, Courtnie, be here at this time. You need to meet these people. You need to be in this room. Here, he introduced me to people that I normally would not have access to. Right?
Wow.
That was pivotal because those connections created more opportunities. Right? So I would say too, if you're looking to support an organization, not even just the Academy of Goal Achievers, think about how you can engage people that you know and give them access to your people, to your network that can help them continue impacting. Second one was we got our first grant. Like I said, I started in 2015. It took us, and that tell you a journey. It took us about 3 years to get our first grant worth $25,000 from Bright House Financial Foundation.
Wow.
And Bright House here in Charlotte is a very, Bright House is Bright House Financial Foundation. They're very well respected in the land of philanthropy. So they're like one of the stamps of like, okay, this organization must know what they're doing, right? We can trust them. And then right after Bright House Financial was another opportunity that I truly believe has changed our trajectory to this day. We got funded through United Way Unite Charlotte program.
Yeah, I think I saw that. I was like, oh my God. Wow.
And Unite Charlotte and United Way is just everywhere, right? And it's like one of those stamps. If you get, but like I said, the Unite Charlotte program not only provides financial support to Black-led organizations that support in Black communities, but they also provided capacity building. That means I was able to go to Duke University for free to get my nonprofit management executive coaching certificate, right? Wow. Well, I was able to increase in volunteerism. I was able to get access to even more people that I wouldn't have got access to as before. And I always say too, what's important about access to people is the more opportunities and more doors that any leader can get into. It's going to also impact and the more resources our young adults and families will get access to. So that's what I think about. A door open, not just for me, but it opened for the students and families we serve.
Wow.
And that's really what keeps me going. That's what keeps me going. How can I continue to get yeses for the organization and for the students and families we serve?
Wow. And I love
they can continue to grow too as well.
Yeah, and even the way that you're thinking as a visionary, it's not just about how it impacts your business, but it's about how it impacts the people you serve. And that is one of those core principles that will help you to continue to be successful because of the way that you're thinking.
Mm-hmm.
I love that, y'all. These are tips executive coaching tips that are for free for now, but.
For now.
Get what you get from Courtnie from now, but that it won't be free forever. I'm just telling you right now, don't come at her for free stuff. You're gonna get charged.
I love it. That's true.
Oh my gosh. So one that something else I want to shift a little bit to get some sisterly advice on wins and entrepreneurship and how, because there again, for those who are gonna watch the replay, and I never know who's watching it. I know it happens. I don't watch the numbers, but I know it's out there. So for those who are building, so maybe they're building they're walking into their purpose and they're building whatever it's a profit or nonprofit, whatever that looks like. Something that we talked about as visionaries is celebrating the success and celebrating those milestones. So I'm going to go ahead and get free advice. I'm asking for some friends.
Listen, like you said, when we're building a company or organization, your business, like you said, for-profit, nonprofit, sometimes we be so busy that and moving so fast that we don't take the moment to just celebrate the wins that we're currently having. I mean, I feel like you just have to do that. When you're building, everything is a milestone. Everything is a part of your history. So we have to celebrate that moment, those wins. when I first started out, you're moving so fast. When I got Bright House Financial Foundation, I remember I went out to eat. I'm like, you know what? I went to a nice restaurant. I said, you know what? Let me just sit here and because you begin to think about all the work it took to okay, we got our first one. Let me breathe and take this in. Because when you're building something, you don't have a huge company HR team that's giving you
right.
a mass email. You don't have nobody saying, good stuff. You met your performance metrics for the blood company. You have to be that for yourself. And hopefully you have a circle who realize what you're doing too and allow you to start well and say, hey, Court, you know what? Hey, let's celebrate that. That's big. But don't wait to those big moments that you're thinking is big moments to forget to celebrate those bricks that you're laying right now. That's going to allow those big moments to happen. You have to celebrate the history. You have to celebrate the foundation. You have to celebrate every milestone. Because I like to think that we have a place value on things where I'm gonna value this and not value that. You have to value every experience, every milestone, everything that comes that you get exposed to as you building a company. You have to value that, because if you don't, you're gonna be drained. You're gonna be looking for energy, but you don't have all these opportunities to fill yourself up. But you're waiting for something to look like something to say, now it's value. Now it's worthy. Now I deserve this. No, you deserve it in day one. You deserve your clap. I always say if 2 kids showed up, we're going to still do what needs to be done. And I'm going to still clap because someone still came through that door.
That's right. Someone showed up.
Someone showed up. Don't wait to the crowd of millions to clap for yourself.
Oh, mic drop. That is so true. And that is, this is my confessional. So don't judge me, y'all watching the replay. Don't judge me. But that is so true. And that is something that I'm live, right this second, taking in, that I don't do a good job. I do a terrible job of celebrating my wins, and I'm fantastic at celebrating everybody else's, and quite frankly it is exhausting. So I'm soaking this in as even having this conversation to me is a huge win, because this is like you trusted me enough to come on this platform and share your story and be vulnerable. You know what I mean? Yeah. That to me is like, oh my God, it's Courtnie. That's literally
it's a win for me too. So don't get it it's a win both ways. I'm like, oh my God, she asked me to go on a podcast. She done research. She was very impressed. I'm like, you know what? This is a win too. Because things like that matter on the journey too.
Yes.
Those little taps when you almost tapped out, you're like,
yes.
You're doing good. Keep going.
It's amazing. You know what? Someone just came to mind. The gentleman, his name is Jay Stratham. I'm probably gonna mess up his name. And he's actually joining a future live with us. Okay. And Jay, he's a luxury realtor. So I'm shouting him out, telling all his business right now.
Oh, I know. Is he Charlotte based?
Yes.
Yeah, I know Jay. Yes.
Okay. So, and I met him not too long ago. We had the most amazing conversations. And here's where y'all got to be careful with your circle, because don't you know, he had the most incredible things to say about you.
Oh, nice. Yes.
Okay. So this is where, sometimes you never know the impact that you're making in other people's lives. And he made a huge one on mine. And literally I'm sitting there, I'm like, wow, look at how, listen, you don't say God, right?
He is good people.
He is fantastic. So huge shout out to Jay. He's, like I said, he's going to come on another program. But as we're sitting here talking about celebrating our wins, I definitely want to count, my meeting you as a win. Because I'm watching how things just get played out in its own miraculous, wonderful way. And it just came back to mind, like, And here was someone else who was another blessing to me, who's connected to you.
That's
That's just how it works.
The world is small.
The world is real small. Yeah. So that impact, and I thought about, when we talk about renewing our minds and energy. So obviously, if y'all don't know yet, I am very creative, but I'm also a very black and white. It makes sense. It makes sense in my brain. So I wanted to find out, how do you keep renewing, yourself? Like, how do you manage that?
Listen, I'm not an expert at that. I can say that now. But I'm definitely getting so much better at it. So right now, I think it's all about making sure things that I enjoy is still, I make a priority in my life. Like, I love to travel, right? So I went to Tulum. Traveling is always like my go-to. I love to travel. Anything sports related, I love to watch sports, right? Go to sporting events, and then being around my circle, connecting to my friends and family, and learning not to be all about the work I do, and reminding people. And I think, honestly, we say a lot of yeses, but I learned to say no. Saying no is definitely a form of self-care for me.
Yeah.
Learning not to say yes all the time, but learning to say no and be okay with saying no. Like, you say no, like, oh my God, it's like after you say no, it's like all these other emotions come with it. Guilt, shame. I'm like,
regret.
It's like, I said no, but now I got all these other emotions. Like, I don't want to do all these other emotions. But learning to say no and having peace after it. Like, it's peace. It's like, I don't feel regretful. I don't feel regret. I don't feel guilty. I had to say no. And that was a part of my self-care, like knowing my boundaries. Because I do believe when you are a servant leader, you are naturally a giver too.
Yeah.
You're just a natural giver. So I think too, like I've learned on my journey is the more you give, the more you have to fill yourself back up.
Yeah.
Being a giver is great, but you have to be a giver with boundaries.
That's true.
Or you're going to be empty. Like, there's nothing you're going to be able to give out. And usually when givers have nothing to give, it makes us feel worse.
That's true. Because you feel guilty.
You feel guilty, like, oh my God, like, I can't even do it because I'm tired and exhausted. But that's how you just have overextended yourself. Yeah. So, but no, that's how I just keep myself, replenished, energized, and understanding my why, like why I do this in the first place.
Wow.
So, it's not about me. It's not about me. God gave me this vision. I don't know you got, but God gave me this vision. And when He give you a vision, like it's not about you. It's about everybody else that's attached, that lives are going to be impacted by what you have been. First, you was obedient to do it, because I could have got the vision and be like,
That's right.
I know I hear it and I see it and I feel it, but no, I'm not doing it.
Like, you can't be right about this one. This is too big.
Exactly. But you don't realize how many lives are impacted negatively because you're not in position to doing what you're called to do.
Preach it. Yes.
So
yes,
being called, I think it comes with just being visionary. It comes with just natural sacrifices because it's not about you. It's just not about you. It's about everybody else. But I do know this: someone else is operating in their calling that's going to impact you too, and that's right. Someone else going to be in their position, right? So when I need my cup full, their calling going to be able to fill me up. Because they're in their position. And I think that's how the world just works, and hopefully everybody hear what they're supposed to do and just get in position.
Wow. I love that. And even the idea of accepting the calling, because there are a lot of people who don't. Listen, I'm gonna tell you this journey, I launched LCM Group April 1st. So it's been, I had to ask my daughter this morning, I was like, how long has this thing been going? And she's like, 6 months. it literally feels like it's been 6 years, but it is the breadth of the work involved. And it started with saying yes to the calling. Yes. And once you say yes and receive it, it's the most amazing, crazy, fantastic, horrible thing.
It's all of that. But it's been all like that. It's all of that.
All of that. And you cannot go back. You cannot go back. And as a visionary, if the vision is yours. So for y'all who aren't church folks, just bear with us because I'm about to say this, okay? But in Habakkuk, I think it's 2:1, where the prophet gets the vision. It reminds me that the vision is given to you. So like the vision was given to you. And so the idea of owning it and understanding it is very hard to explain it sometimes to other people because it was your vision. Yeah. It wasn't mine, it was yours. Mm-hmm. So you have to be able to articulate it, but first you got to receive that you're gonna accept and walk this thing through. So so for folks who are thinking about, hey, maybe you want to do something like what Courtnie is doing with her. Again, there's hard work behind it, but you do have to first accept. You gotta accept
yes.
calling, and then everything that comes with it, because it is a lot of amazing work, a lot of sacrifice, but we need it. If you weren't doing this, Courtnie, I think a lot of teens would absolutely suffer. And I do believe you'll exceed the 600 and 6,000. I think you got your numbers wrong.
Okay.
That's just
you know what?
Okay.
I would say that too.
Yeah, it ain't 600, it's 6,000. Yeah, you gotta adjust the numbers because that's the level of impact that you're making. So before we end, because we try to do this for 40 minutes and let people go eat dinner, I wanted to find out, where do you see your organization going? Where kind of what can we expect from you over the next few years or so?
Oh yeah, so as an organization where we're heading, you're going to see goal achievers planted all over Charlotte, North Carolina, and the world.
Yes.
Right. We're doing this thing called Train the Trainer. We're trying to get into schools, we're into other community organizations. So watch out. You're going to see us in your city, in your state soon.
I love that. All right. Well, that's what I had. And Courtnie, we've got some, I will say, LCM, we have some good partners that we're working on. So as we start building out those relationships, I'm hooking you.
Thank you.
I'm getting you some peeps, okay, to help you make this. I'm so grateful for this time. I'm so grateful for the jewels and knowledge, everything the encouragement, the empowerment. I'm obviously very proud of all the work that you do. I'm super inspired by everything that you're doing. And I'm just, thank you so much for joining our program. We are going to tell these people deuces and hang out in the back room with a real party. I'm sorry, y'all. There's no party. We just say that. So with that, we'll tell the people deuces and then we will hang out in the back.